Bangladeshi journalist and human rights activist Shahriar Kabir is at the center of a growing controversy, one that can set precedents for democracy and human rights and equality being followed in Bangladesh. It is raising serious questions about press freedom and political repression in the neighboring nation. Let's take you through the details of the story before we get into the broader implications. Shahriar Kabir was arrested in connection with multiple murder cases during the quota reform protests that took place in July 2024. Cases that include deaths of a madrasa student and a computer training center proprietor during these very demonstrations. Critics have claimed, however, that these charges are politically motivated and part of a broader crackdown on dissent. Kabir, who suffers from high blood pressure and diabetes, was transferred to Kashimpur Central Jail. Recent reports indicate that he was taken to a hospital for medical checks, fueling concerns about his well-being while being in custody, that is. Shahriar Kabir has long been an advocate for human rights and equality. During the quota reform movement itself, he stood with students, criticized the government's heavy-handed response, and documented protests, amplifying calls for a more merit-based system. His arrest is seen as a part of a larger pattern of suppressing activists and journalists critical of the government. International organizations, including Amnesty International and CPJ, are demanding his release and fair legal proceedings. The case further highlights growing challenges for journalists and activists in Bangladesh, where dissent is often met with harsh penalties. Kabir's arrests, in fact, reflects rising tensions in Bangladesh's political landscape. Allegations of government overreach and suppression of opposition voices have drawn international scrutiny. Activists argue Kabir's case exemplifies the struggle of those who challenge the establishment. Human rights groups have declared Kabir a prisoner of conscience. They criticize the misuse of laws to silence dissent and demand his unconditional release. The issue has also gained global media attention, increasing pressure on Bangladesh to uphold democratic values. Shahriar Kabir's case is not just about one individual. It highlights a broader concern over human rights, press freedom, and the treatment of dissenters in Bangladesh.